This is Lindsay. Good morning. It's September 16th, um, Monday morning. And so I noticed something yesterday when a certain individual was over here. Uh, and now I'm really starting to wonder because this is the second time that I've noticed this. It's the second time I've found this weird something at the bottom of my cup. And the first time I just dismissed it and threw it away, dumped them out as if it was nothing and didn't even really think twice about it, but I still was like wondering what in the world is that? And so yesterday I had my cup sitting here on the counter like that, right? This cup that had a little bit of some water at the bottom of it, okay? It was sitting here. This individual was in my house. He was in my room, and I did have the cup there at one point sitting on my nightstand like this. I had it sitting on my nightstand, and he was in there. And then I had moved it in here, and I was out of the room for a while doing different things in the other room, okay? Well, at some point I come back, I look in the bottom of the cup, and there's these things at the bottom. I'm going to bring it over into the light. There's something at the bottom of the cup. I removed it, and I found at the bottom of my cup these weird, and I don't know what they are because I don't, it's not food. It's not something that I had eaten. It's not my energy powder or my flavored powder drink stuff that I put in my water sometimes. I don't know what this is. I don't know what these things are. Okay, I do not know what that is. It's not a pill. It's not a supplement. It's some kind of a weird uh it's like a something that just don't I don't know what this is. And it's red, as you can see, it's like a red. It's not food. It's not anything that I've eaten. I don't have any food like that. I don't know what it is, what they are. But these were at the bottom of my cup, of this cup, that I drink from every single day. Every day, okay? And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And this is the second time the same thing happened a ways back, and I just dismissed it and threw them away. But I was like thinking, what is that? And now, and this person happened to, and there's a person and ironically enough, this man shows up here, unannounced, knocking out my door for a long, long time. I was like not very hesitant. Finally, I allowed him inside, which I don't know if I should have done that. Obviously, probably not. But he was begging to come inside the house, or just he wasn't gonna leave. And there's been a lot of problems lately, and I have some weird suspicions about him, and I've already talked about this in my videos, and I don't know exactly who he's working for or what he's doing, what he wants with me, but I believe, and after what I found out from some information from somebody, that this man could be getting paid to be doing stuff to me, to have me, basically they want me dead because of money, and I believe he could be part of it. Well, he did mention at some point he's got a friend. And this girl, I at one point when I had looked, I don't even look at his Facebook or social media anymore at all. I stopped doing that. I have him blocked because he's the one who originally had defriended me on that Facebook ways long time ago. And so I just after that I would look at his Facebook profile, and we are still together on and off during this time. But sometimes I'd periodically check out his Facebook profile or his whatever Instagram, and I noticed he's got some friend. And I was like, okay, his friend Anita Pickett, okay, who he's friends with, and he told me how he met her, some dance club, Luna, something about 7 years ago, and they became good friends. I don't know whatever happened, anything ever became between those two, but apparently they're good friends, and he probably talks to her a lot. And he told me that she's a botanist. Yesterday, this just came out of the blue. Like, I don't know, we were talking. her name came up, and he said that she's a botanist and that she could poison. And he said she's really like arrogant, or not arrogant, but really like somebody who just basically is like real straightforward and will and seems to whatever. Who's not afraid of anything or anybody. And she said something like she could kill anybody with her knowledge about botany or something. He said some weird comment like that, and I was like, okay, and I'm like, okay, and so I'm thinking, is this some kind of a weird plant, a seed, a poisonous seed? I mean, that's the only thing that I started to think about last night or yesterday after I found it. I was like, what is this? Is it a poisonous seed that somebody is trying to kill me with, or what? I don't know, because it's like some kind of a weird something. And I just have my suspicions now, because all of a sudden that ends up in my bottom of my cup when he's here. It just so happens that he was in my house yesterday, and the same thing has happened before. Like I said, I don't remember exactly when, but I believe it was also after he had been here. Now that I think about it, it was at some point the last time he was in my house, which was this was a ways back. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just paranoid because of all the weird stuff happening to me, but I don't trust him. I don't trust anybody. I really don't, especially now that I've been exposing all this stuff. And I know that these people want me dead, and so-called family, whatever they are, they're trying to get me killed or have me get into an accident so they can collect money or whatever after all that voodoo shit that they did apparently on me, black magic stuff, trying to kill me with some voodoo doll or putting photographs of me in some cemetery in Mexico, apparently by some lady named Maria, who was hired. Apparently, she was paid $25,000 to do that to me by my mother and her sister, and my brother was involved, and my cousin. So I don't really know, but I just had to talk about this because these weird seeds that ended up at the bottom of that cup yesterday when that's Mr. Louis Lewis was here, Luis, and people know that I've been talking about all this shit on my YouTube video channel about this man, and I just don't know who he's got. It's like he's got a double life. He's hiding something so big for me that there's something, and I know it either has to do with some kind of a kid he has, or a child out of adultery, or an extra marriage. I mean, we're not married. Some kind of an affair that he's got going on, which he's probably has multiple. Something. There's just something that he's keeping. Something that he doesn't want me to know. It is obvious because I can see the way he behaves. I can tell in his eye. There's just something that he's lying to me about, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I just have my various suspicions about it, because I can tell when somebody is not being honest. When you ask them a question and they just blatantly lie to you, it's like. And then he made some weird another thing. He's very very arrogant. He was walking around this house naked. He kind of acts like he owns this house. He kind of acts like he owns me, and and then he says that he was lying down in the bed in the nude, and he said something. He said all of a sudden he started talking, saying something about Nintendo, PlayStation, and car seats, and talking like just making these weird comments about Nintendo, PlayStations, and something about the car seats. I'm thinking, and I said, "What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, it's like, "Oh, I don't know. I was just dreaming." It's like, well, okay. So he made a comment about a Nintendo, PlayStation, and then car seats, like children, like something that for little boys or children. So I'm like, okay, what is it? What's up with you? Are you involved with somebody who's got children, or are you playing stepfather for somebody who's what's going on here? I'm thinking, what is this about? That was not that was so completely just something that a slip of the tongue, okay? That he was daydreaming about. That's not the first time he's done that. It's like he'll say something when he's always exhausted. He's always like physically exhausted, and I think he says he's not eating. It's like I feel like he's on some kind of a drug. Like, and I said, "Are you doing cocaine or are you on some kind of meth or drug? Because you seem like he's doing something because he says he's not eating." And I'm like, "Why are you not, he's because I guess he's trying to lose weight or he's lost some weight." But I think he's going overboard with it because he's apparently getting delusional, or he sounds like he's might be getting like delusional or something. He says he's been working all the time and overworking, and then he had blood on his shorts. He showed when I first looked at him at the front door. I noticed that he had these little spots of blood on his shorts. And he always wears the same outfit, kind of like, and he smelled weird. He had this weird odor. And I'm like, what? And I said, what happened? What's the blood on your shorts? What's going on? And then he starts saying, "Oh, well, I cut my finger. I cut my finger at work at doing inventory." And I said, "You're doing inventory wearing those shorts? What?" And he said some story about how he cut his finger doing inventory. And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, that's a lie." I think because I said he didn't. He was trying to show me a fake cut. There was no cut on his finger. It's like, and he said he was doing inventory, that he's been working and all of a sudden, by the way, I haven't seen him in like a month, and he just shows up a couple, he's been trying to call me for the past couple days and I've been ignoring him. Then he just shows up here the other day. He says he came here yesterday after he got off work in his monkey suit, he said, and he was knocking on my door, knocking on my window. I didn't hear anything. So he's he gaslights me a lot. He does gaslight, and he's manipulative, and he comes over here to get information about what I'm doing. And of course, it's like he's doing a heat check. That's all it is. And I've talked about this before, and everybody who knows about covert malignant narcissists know that whenever something ends bad with them, or then they do come back to Hoover multiple times sometimes, and it's really because they're trying to just get even, or they're trying to get information to check on you to see what you're doing, because it's about some kind of financial control. And with him, it's like I feel like there's some kind of an agreement that was made without my consent during all that court stuff, or at some point when I don't know when, but it could go from way back, that like it's like somebody was he appointed by the courts to be a guardian? I mean, there's all kinds of things that have crossed my mind about why is it that so many of the things that happened to him kind of parallel with my life, little similarities here and there. But at the same time, it's like ultimately I feel like this man just wants some kind of financial gain over my assets that I inherited, or not just him, but it seems like everybody who I end up getting involved with, which is not many people anymore. Especially, I really, he's the only person for the past 3 years now who's been in my house, who I've been with intimately. I dated one. I went out on a date with another guy, and we kissed. And other than that, because this guy, since he told me that I was just his friend and that he cared about me and all that, because with narcissists, they don't ever, they like to remain, like, they like to look like they're single. And if they are with somebody, they still have to put on the mask or front that they're single, because they're always looking for more people, or supply, they call it, right? And so with him, since his job is working in sales at a department store, a upscale, pretty fancy department store, well, he gets the opportunity, or he's always, and of course, he's a workaholic. He loves to work. Why? Because he money, but also because he gets to meet mostly women. He works in a women's shoes department, okay, mostly. And in any other department he's at, it has to do with women. So all his clients are women. Think about that. He's working in a place that's like an upscale department store where all of his clients are women. So he's constantly interacting with women all day who have money, who probably, have a career and money to spend on fancy or expensive shoes and clothes. at Saks Fifth Avenue in San Antonio. Maybe they come in for the weekend or from some kind of a business meeting from out of town. So he's always meeting people from all over, right? Women, people, families. They go, and he's told me about this, and I know about. I grew up in a big city. I went to is it when I was younger. I've been to places like Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and stuff like that back in the day. And I have family who my mother and my aunt and my grandmother used to shop at these places and whatever. I can't afford it. It's too expensive for I don't really shop at those places, especially now, but yeah, they have expensive, nice, brand name clothing and things that are more expensive, obviously. So I'm thinking, since he's always interacting with women, he's always meeting new people. He has a list of all these women clients. He's tons of people who he keeps in contact with for supposedly for selling things. So it's like I don't know who he knows. There's so many things about this man that he keeps secret, and I do still suspect that he's involved with that girl, this Victoria, who supposedly got fired or not fired or quit or something. And I do still have in my the back. I still feel like he had something going on with her when he first met her. Whenever they first met, when she was working there, I believe they had some kind of an affair, and I still believe that he may have gotten her pregnant or something because supposedly she was married with two boys, and she was married to some man who was I think of Asian descent or something. I don't know, but I sincerely believe that those two are either trying to triangulate me or they're involved with some kind of polyamorous open relationship or an open marriage or a closed secret marriage or something because of the fact that maybe she got pregnant and that she just had a child. That these are just things that I suspect. And if it's not with her, there's something about a child or a baby that's involved, some newborn, I believe. And these are just the thoughts that I have when I piece together all the clues of his behavior, of changes that I've noticed, and when I ask him questions, the way he looks at me, and when he gets mad, how he reacts. So he's still, and I suspect that whoever woman he got pregnant, or if that's the fact that he's involved with somebody else, living a double life, well, maybe things are going wrong, and that's not going so well, or he's frustrated about something, maybe because he's not getting his sexual needs met, which is most likely because with narcissists, it's all about transaction. It's about, and with somatic narcissists, they're all about sex and image and body and status, usually, as opposed to cerebral narcissists are more about, they're more calculated with, they're not so much about the whole intimate body sex thing, but certain sex addicts and narcissists go hand in hand. There's when a sex addict can't get what he wants, they're going to look for it and get it wherever they can find it. Okay. Whether it be with prostitutes, call girls, at a men's club or dancers, they'll get it, dating sites, they will find it because they can't go without it. They just can't. They're addicts. It's like a druggie needing his fix. And sometimes, a lot of times, these male sex addicts, because I've been with some of them before, they start getting violent. They're very secretive. They live double lives. They're manipulative, and a lot of times they have STDs. They refuse to get they have a lot of secrets, and a lot of what they do in their intimate life is stuff that you would like a normal like someone like me would never do. Like it's very, they'll do things like they have orgies, they'll or threesomes, they experiment with men, and they're bisexual mostly, but they try to keep that a secret. So a lot of them are either closet homosexuals or closet bisexuals, or some of them are open about that as well. But they'll get with a woman to try to use that woman as like a beard, they call it, like somebody who's like just to pose as a girlfriend or a wife. Meanwhile, they live a double life with a man or whatever, doing things that are just stuff that I would never that I would never in a million do. They're into like s in it. Sometimes these people are into really like rough sex, and they're into, they have a certain thing, like this guy. I know that he likes to receive oral pleasure. Okay, he does, and he's told me that before, and so he uses me. That's my role in his life, is to basically, that's it, is to provide some comfort, a safe place for him to land when he's fucked up, because I'm an honest person who keeps on letting him back in and tries to talk to him and be a real friend, is what I've tried to do throughout the whole time I've known him, like really trying to get to know him and build a real relationship, because that's just how I am. I like real connections. I don't like fake stuff when it comes to people and relationships. And so I've really worked hard. I've tried so hard to just be I'm just myself, And so I don't know what his other relationships are like with these other women or people, if they're superficial based or people he works with, but the guy lives a lot, kind of a double life. He's got problems at home with I think his family. He lives with his mom and his stepfather. I don't think things are going so well sometimes over there. I've never been to his house. He doesn't want me to meet his parents. He's very either embarrassed or something about them. I think it's because he's embarrassed or ashamed about something, or insecure. Because I don't think it's me. I think it's more on something about his end, that he's embarrassed or trying to hide. That's why I'm like, what are you hiding? What's in your house? Why is it that you won't let me go just see your room at least, or see what's going on? After 3 years, and you've never once been inside the person's house, but he's been over here so many times and knows everything about me. It's just unfair. It's like an unevenly yoked type situation, where one person, in this situation myself, is being scapegoated or being taken advantage of, kind of like a doormat for somebody who fucks up in life and has done some bad things, or fucks up, and he's kind of just like, he's clearly just using me. There's no love. He says things like he cares about me and he'll give me a hug, but it's because he wants something physical. And then he immediately like says, "Can I take my clothes?" It's like he comes over here because he wants something, and then he gets all tired and starts talking in his sleep, slipping of the tongue, saying things that are so fucking revealing of things that that he's revealing about himself or about his other life, that I'm like, okay, wow, some of my suspicions are really true, I think. And they're not just suspicions, they're actually things that I've thought that this could be going on, and I think I'm right about a lot of it. I'm not paranoid, and then he'll tell me things like, "No, you're very intelligent, you're not crazy, you're really smart," but at the same time he gaslights me. So it's like he tries to confuse me and then doubt my perceptions about things when I know that I'm right about things. But then he'll punish me. He punishes me in these subtle ways. He's never been violent with me, but I'm afraid that a man like him could potentially turn violent. That's the thing. It's like, he's never hit me. He's never been physically. He did one time he did do something that was kind of rough. Yeah, he can be kind of rough. And he did injure me once. I remember, but he's never tried to slap me. He's never been like, physically violent with me or anything like that. But he's just somebody who has to have his way. He's very narcissistic and demanding, and it adds a lot of pressure to my life. It makes me feel nervous. It makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel overwhelmed. Whenever you're around somebody and they make you feel confused and overwhelmed and anxious and on the edge and just constantly like doubting your perceptions, that's called gaslighting. They know what they're doing. It's like when a person's just lying to you and not telling you who they really are and what they're up to. It's just they're just fucking with your mind. They're mind fuckery. It's just a lot of mental. It's mental abusive. It's mentally abusive, because here you are being so honest with somebody who's just basically taking advantage, like for just taking advantage. That's all I have to say right now. But this all happened yesterday, and in the past couple of days have been weird, because all of a sudden he starts calling me again after I found out some information from a third source, somebody who I paid to try to help to help me get some answers to some things, who is probably telling me some half truths and some things that are not so true. But this man definitely, this Luis Valdez is involved. Luis Vidal is his actual real. That's the last name of his biological father, who he doesn't want to know for whatever reason. He's got a lot of problems. The guy's got is a mess. He's a basket case, but he tries to hide it. He's got a lot of problems, but I think he really tries hard to conceal that, because he's just, I don't know. Some people, men, narcissistic men are different from narcissistic women, but this guy, it's just really confusing. But I can read it. It's like I can read him like a book. I can feel his anger. I can feel his emotions, and I know when he's lying to me, and I don't know how to explain that, but it's like, it's really strange.